All right, so Max, I've sold my house, or my house is under contract. Really don't have a place to go because there really isn't anything out there that is getting me all excited. So what do? Everybody comes to us and says, hey, what are the availabilities of short-term housing? One of the things they ask us is, hey, can you get a house that you can lease for 6 months? And I usually tell them the answer to that is no, kind of thing. So that is why you're here to help us out. So we've spoken, there are short-term solutions and fixes to help people out. So if I'm selling my house, I mean, what's the first part of the process? How soon should I start looking into what you have to offer?
So typically with apartment communities, they usually have availability 60 days out. So they know 60 days in advance what they have on their availability. A lot of times too, in a short notice, you'll have different specials and availability for things that are vacant now. So it might even be a better incentive short term.
Okay, so define short term. What is that in your world?
So short term is being like short term notice, like in you're needing to move in the next 2 weeks. Like your house on the market, you already accepted an offer,
right,
and you need to close. And I mean, obviously nowadays it's closing what 30 and 45
30
days.
to 45 days out,
yeah,
right?
So I mean, obviously it wouldn't be that fast, but most communities do have the availability 60 days out.
But I think what I hear you also saying is if I've procrastinated, and because there's maybe I want to hope for hope, there's a house or whatever, and all of a sudden I realize I'm closing in 3 weeks.
Right.
All hope is not lost. There may be some opportunities.
No, and in the DFW market too, there's such a vast majority of apartment communities, so you're not at loss. I promise you that.
Okay, so how soon should I start the process? Do I need to basically, with exceptions to what we just talked about, would it be something that I'm 60 days away from the closing I should be looking into? Or
I would say once you put your house on the market is when you should also start looking for where you need to live afterwards. So,
okay,
yeah.
So do you go ahead and do like for instance, like if I'm buying a house or a customer's buying a house, they would do a application with a lender. Is this something that you would have them go ahead and do a generic application that you can use, or the apartment complex's applications different from a complex to complex to complex?
So in some situations they do vary in complex to complex,
right,
depending on the property management company or owners.
Typically
they all use the TAA application.
And the TAA means?
The Texas Apartment Association.
Got it, okay.
So typically that's what they would utilize in most situations. However, there's a couple properties that may use their own applications, which they're able to do so, as long as it's complying with certain TA requirements.
Okay. And do they do that online?
Some communities allow to do online, some are more traditional and do it on paper, so it really does vary in that instance too.
Okay.
But in the interim, you do actually fill out the application. Most apartment locators will help you locate within whatever parameters you're looking for, based on your certain lease term, maybe a price point that you want to stay within
right,
on a month-to-month basis.
Right.
So yeah.
So in other words, if, just to give an example, I am basically wanting to stay in South Fort Worth because that potentially is where I'm targeting, looking for a home. Would you set up a electronic search or a feed of what comes up, kind of like you would if you're looking for a house?
Most definitely. Actually, so we have a system that's called Smart Apartment Data, and it will help you kind of focus on whatever parameters you're wanting to stay with.
Okay.
So a particular area, price point, maybe some amenities and features that you are more partial to, that you want to continue to have in your living lifestyle. Even if it is short term, we all want to live comfortably. So.
Okay, so how easy is it to get a 6-month lease?
So that question, it is, industry standards is anywhere between 11 to, let's say, 14.
Right.
On a rarity, maybe there's 18, but there is short-term leases from 3 to 9.
Right.
9 to
Somewhere in
10
between.
months. Yeah. It's not as easy, but they are out there.
Okay.
That is, I mean, they're not unheard of.
So, and not every complex would be open to doing that.
Correct. Not every complex is open to that, doing these type of short-term leases.
Right.
However, in the instance where some communities do allow that.
Right.
There may be additional month-to-month fees or short-term.
Question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah.
So, but I'm guessing either because of experience or the way it is marked in your, and I'm using my own term, the apartment MLS, type of
Right,
thing,
yeah.
that you'll be able to pick out, yeah, this is a 3-month, this is a 6-month, this can be a 9-month, that type of situation.
Most definitely.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So would you say, I mean, one of the, I say perceptions out there, I would say that if it would be an extra $100 to $200 a month for that type of short versus what that unit would have been if it was a regular lease, for lack of a better term?
Most definitely. So you would experience, industry standard, I would say anywhere between 200 to 300 on a month-to-month, and it may be off market, and you may not be able to take advantage of whatever enticing specials they may have too.
Right.
So
Okay.
keep that in mind as
All
well.
right. And then, I mean, for us, I mean, the big thing, because even if somebody, you say, okay, I want to rent a home, getting with pets is a problem. And I say that as people love their pets, have their pets, but getting a landlord, again, on the house side of the equation, to take a pet, that can really shrink the pool. So how does that really affect what you guys do?
So there are communities that allow and don't allow our four-legged family members. So,
Right.
that can sometimes be a challenge. However, in these communities that do allow pets,
Right.
there are fees involved. Such
Additional,
as
like a pet deposit or
pet
whatever.
deposit
Right.
and a monthly pet rent in some cases.
So let's say, just to give an example, saying, going back to what we talked about earlier, so let's say that the short-term lease is I'm just throwing a number out there, $150 extra a month. Would you say that a pet deposit would, or not pet deposit, but we'll call it pet lease, would that be an additional 50 or 100, or what would be?
Oh, God no. Pet rent is, what I've been noticing is a trend of anywhere between, the lowest I've seen is $5 a month, the highest I've seen is 25.
Okay, so it's not a very huge.
Very minimal
Okay,
as far as
got
on a
it.
monthly basis.
Got it. And what would be the pet deposit? What would be the pet deposit, so to
So
speak?
I've noticed pet deposits been ranging anywhere between, and this is all depending on the community and what area, obviously in DFW, but I would say, and also weight is another factor as well.
Right.
I would say anywhere between $200 to $500 is about average.
Okay.
The most extreme, I think, is that's 1,000.
So where do you run into problems? It seems like we're getting into pet talk, but again,
Right.
pet's a big player.
Right.
So is it the 50-pound or bigger dog? Is it the 30-pound or bigger dog where you start to see pushback, that type of thing, or?
No, if they do allow pets, what
Yeah.
I've noticed is it's anything below 100 pounds or
Okay.
around.
Okay.
And in some cases, if it's just a little over, they may do like a pet interview. So again, it does really vary depending on the actual community itself and the property
Understand.
management and their policies.
Never thought about a
Yeah.
dog getting asked questions. No, I'm
Right.
kidding. I know what I mean. So I'm just playing around. So for me, I mean, one of the things, would be if I just sold my home in the 3 to 6 month or 9 month lease is great, because this way I've sold my home. I don't have to make it a contingent when I'm trying to buy a home. So in other words, I take that out of the equation, makes my offer stronger, etc. But so let's say I did a 6-month lease, but I still haven't found what I'm looking for, or I can't close on it until month number 7. Can you extend those on a month-to-month basis, or do you have to go another, I say 3 months or 6 months or whatever type of thing?
No, typically most communities will allow you to go on a month-to-month basis.
Even on the short-term leases?
Even after the short term.
Okay.
So the initial is going to obligate you to that,
that time
term
period,
agreement
right.
for whatever
Understood.
you agree to. And then thereafter, usually they'll charge you a market plus a month-to-month rate.
So in other words, going back to what we were just talking about, you've got, again, let's say $150 more, and then let's say another $10 for pet, and then if you go month to month at that point, it may be an additional, what, 50 or $100, or what do you think?
Again, just varies.
Yeah, from just ballpark.
Ballpark, it may actually still be the same rate.
Oh, they may just say, hey,
Yeah,
we'll leave it alone and go from there.
Yeah, because in most cases, because most communities nowadays are utilizing LRO or Yield Star, and these are algorithm systems that kind of suggest or recommend a price point on a term of lease. So
And is that based off market conditions within
based
wherever
on
they're?
market conditions,
I say in
demands,
Tarrant County or Dallas-Fort Worth in general.
most definitely, yeah.
Interesting.
And so they almost communicate with all other communities too, to kind of see maybe this particular style of floor plan is not being leased up, so it's actually offered at a lower rate.
I had no idea they did.
Yeah, it's actually becoming even
very
more
scientific.
competitive. Yeah,
Oh, well, how about that? That's kind of crazy. I mean, we don't even do that on the sales side, so
Right.
that's interesting.
It's
That's
almost-
very interesting.
It's almost becoming as comparable to airplane.
Oh, yeah, that makes all the sense. So,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you've gotten bumped out of your apartment this month. No, I'm just kidding. So, no, that's really cool. I had no idea that they were doing that. So, standard 30-day notice, would that be how that would work on the temps, or
So most communities require a 60-day notice.
60-day notice? Okay.
However, on a month-to-month or short term, they
may do 30.
typically may or also just do a 30-day notification.
Okay, all right. And then I would imagine price, again, depends on location. Do you find that like Fort Worth, Arlington, et cetera, it's going to be cheaper than going to HEB, which is cheaper going to North Dallas, that type of scenario, or?
Yeah, in my findings, anything outside of central city locations, like if we were going to focus on more city central of Fort Worth.
Yeah, farms like down where 7th Street by Montgomery Ward, all that kind of fun stuff.
Exactly.
All right.
You would definitely experience a higher rental rate.
Okay.
Opposed if you were stretching a little bit further out in urban or rural areas.
Gotcha. So if you're in the mom and pop neighborhood, you're going to typically pay, if the complex is more in the mom and pop neighborhood, I should say,
Right, exactly.
is going to be, should be less expensive than if you're right in the heart of the action on 7th Street or uptown in Dallas, or whatever the case may be.
Most definitely.
Okay. So I would imagine storage is a big issue for people, especially if they've sold a home, that type of thing. So do you recommend the pod system, or do you recommend any other type of system, or?
Really, depending on your particular situation, a
So
pod may be more.
Well, let's say they sold their, I'm just throwing that right there, 3,000 square foot house, decent sized home. And temporarily, I would think they're going to move into something smaller just so they can cut down their expenses and stuff. So I would think, what, pods or the self-storage units?
Pods, I think, are remarkable just because they're able to store them.
Right.
They're bringing the truck to you per se, and then you load everything up, and I think that's very convenient. But I know everyone's situation different, and
Right.
whatever works more.
Yeah, because I would think, because when we're talking to folks, because we did a little research on the pod here, we'll share, is that, the less they have to mess with, the easier it will be on them. So in other words, if, all they have to do is they pack the pod themselves, or in theory, they go hire a couple of people to pack it for them, that type of situation. But then it gets stored, climate control is my understanding for the most part. And they have a key, so in other words, only they can open it, so it's fairly secure. I say, it's not 100%, but fairly secure. And then when they found their home, basically they just pick that pod up and deliver it and stick it right back in their driveway type of situation.
Right.
So I would think that would be a really easy way of both, solving their issue of what I do with everything, and then you solve their world as far as where can I camp for now. That's my own term. Why I'm looking for a house. That type of situation. One of the things that we did find, just to give you an idea on pods, is that if it is what they call 16-footer, which would be 16 by 8, 16 long, 8 foot tall, which they say is about 3 to 4 rooms. It's approximately $169 a month, plus the delivery, which is around $100. They have 12-foot pods, again, by 8, 2 or 3 rooms are 154, and 7-foot pods also. So you may need 2 pods, or of different sizes depending on your situation. But I would say that there is definitely some viable options out there. I guess you could always move in with your brother, but I don't think that's going to last real long. Mom and dad probably for the short period of time until they forget that you're actually 43 and not 16 again, that type of situation. So if you're looking for independence out there, I would really encourage you to reach out to Max for short-time housing, or if you decided that, hey, I just want to have a longer rent, I want to rent for a couple of years and decide what I want to do, and you're looking for an apartment where you don't have to worry about what's breaking down and a little bit more security, then Max is the guy. So Max, why don't you share your contact information with us?
So you can find our website at www.advancedlocators.com. My number is 512-541-0242. I still have that awesome number. And then, of course, I have an email address, max@advancedlocators.com.
Quick question. So your fee is paid by the complexes?
Yeah, so our service is
It's free.
It's free, yeah.
Right.
So there's no cost to you, which is great. And especially if you're not familiar with the area, you're trying to get immaculated to the area, having this free service as someone of expertise is really beneficial. So yeah, free to you. Also, what our company does in addition is we typically sometimes will pay for your move up to 2 hours. So if you need movers to move the items that you're wanting in your temporary home.
Right. So for argument's sake, the stuff that you're not putting in a pod or a storage unit,
right,
you still got to live with some furniture.
Right. We'll take care of the first 2 hours of that move for you, which is
very good. All right. Anything else you want to share?
no. Good luck.
All right. Well, we appreciate Max coming in today. Until next time.